Good morning and welcome to all who have joined us on this short but definitely essential webinar on safety barrier systems. Who knew you could even make a whole webinar on safety barriers? Well, we can, and I promise you this is worth your half hour. So my name is Steph Gentle. I'm the Group Marketing Director at IWS Group. Today I'm going to be talking with the team behind the innovation of our tested barrier range, so the experts. I get the easy job of just asking the questions. Bear with us as we move to the next slide and I will introduce our team. So please welcome Susie Keating, our Managing Director at Brandsafe, Stuart Ovington, our Managing Director at RAC Group, Stuart Bourne, our Managing Director at Anco Storage, and Matt Mason, our Group Design Manager. Okay, so moving on. So as I said, this is going to be really concise, and the three areas that we're going to cover is about PAS 13 impact rating, why it matters. We are not going to dwell on PAS 13, but just really give you a simplified idea of what it means and why it's important when you're choosing safety barriers. Then we'll talk about how to choose the right impact protection for the needs of your warehouse, which is a really important point. And then how to save big on repair and maintenance costs by selecting the right systems that are suitable for your needs and your warehouse. Okay, so Stuart, welcome. And can you tell us a bit about what it is we're actually doing here at IWS Group?
Yep. Hi, Steph. Yeah, well, what we've been doing is providing a simplified, safe solution for impact safety. The reason we've done this is there's a lot of confusion in the market when you talk to customers. You know, are the two barriers I'm looking at from two competitors the same? Are they engineered for my environment? Are they safe? And are they fit for purpose? So that's why we've come away to develop a simplified, safe solution for impact safety.
And how is it that we're doing so?
We're doing that by using the PAS 13 BSA standard as our base, and we've used that to test our products. We build a testing rig, and then following on from that, we've tested it, but we've also then gone outside to a worldwide recognized testing house, TUV Nord, and used them to accredit and check our data.
Okay, so we've tested these products in-house using our own testing system to make sure they qualify and achieve the PAS 13 standards. And TUV Nord is the independent body, and they're there to verify that the testing absolutely is accurate.
Yes, you're not taking our word, you're taking an independent expert's word.
Thank you, Stuart. So Susie, what are the common challenges that customers are facing in the market when they're looking at safety barrier systems? Because it's quite hard to navigate, right?
Absolutely. Thanks, Steph, and good morning, everybody. Of course, the biggest challenge in the current climate is always going to be around the budget. And of course, having a lesser budget means that you can make compromise on the durability or the longevity and the sustainability of products. So, of course, finding a cost-effective solution which meets all of the needs under the current, challenges that you've got around budget means that it's, that's a big challenge in itself.
Thank you, Susie. And Stuart, just back to you. What is it when these decision makers, whether they're facilities managers, health and safety managers, even distributors who are supplying the product, what is it that they need to look out for?
Well, first of all, they need to understand the environment they want to put the impact protection in. And then they need to decide what needs to be protected. And that's obviously people and property and stock. And then we need to map that out, understand where the walkways are going to be, where the stock zones are going to be, and understand what deflection zones are required. And then they can decide from that what the best solution looks like. And also a key point nowadays is sustainability. So can the product be recycled? And ours can 100% recycle, but more importantly, can I get replacement parts? Because when you put impact protection in, it's usually in the warehouse for 10 to 20, even 30 years. Can I get replacement parts? I'm really pleased to say, yes, you can.
And of course, then that makes that product durable. And I always see durability is such a huge element of sustainability. These products are designed to last.
Absolutely. We work in an industry where costs need to be kept down, and we work on low margins. Therefore, we're helping our customers keep their costs down.
Stuart, you mentioned deflection zone, and I've just brought a slide up actually, which is just to help explain what you mean when you're talking about deflection zone in particular.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. It's difficult when you say it. So deflection zone is when a walkway should be a minimum of 600 mils wide. However, on top of that, you then need to add a deflection zone. So this is, you put the barrier in and how far the barrier will deflect, which you do for your testing. You understand that distance. You then add that to the walkway area to make sure that anyone walking in there is safe. So if the barrier does get hit, they're still in a safe zone.
So if you're a decision maker and you're looking at barriers that flex, what we're saying, I guess, is that we have to build in a deflection zone for how much that barrier flex. And am I right in thinking each manufacturer will have different deflection zones for their barrier?
Yes, they will, and it'll also depend on what it's deflecting against, so whether it's what kind of forklift truck it is. So that's why you need to talk to experts to understand that and ask those questions. And any good supplier should be telling you and asking those questions: what is your forklift? What speeds do they run at? And from those, that kind of, what loads do they carry? And that information will help determine some of the deflection zone information.
Thank you, Stuart. Let's move on now. So Matt, welcome to the webinar this morning. So you're Group Design Manager for IWS. What does that involve? So Matt, I think you're on mute here. Just give you a second.
Sorry, first technical hitch. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Steph. I look across the group, so Brandsafe, the rack group, all of our impact barriers, in charge of testing, design, manufacturing.
Okay, and obviously we're talking about safety barrier systems today. You've been heavily involved in this and engineering the products to meet all of these standards. So what is it that PAS 13, what is PAS 13? That's what I want to ask, because I see it bandied about. I'm sure a lot of the audience sees PAS 13 being bandied about. Perhaps we know that PAS 13 is a standard, but why? And why is it important?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, when I joined about a year ago, it was clear that our products needed to be tested and are compliant to a recognised level. My background is in aerospace and telecommunications, so for me, reliability is absolutely key. PAS 13 was selected as it's important to benchmark our products to the recognised guidelines, and that's what PAS 13 gives us. It applies to safety barriers that are used mostly within the industrial workplace environments.
And you mentioned that it's a global benchmark. So this is a globally recognised standard for safety barriers. Yeah,
it was created by the British Standards Institute along with the Health and Safety Executive. So it carries a lot of weight. And as part of that, all parts of our system are tested. So the upright posts and the horizontal barriers.
Okay, thank you, Matt. So let's just move on. In particular, I want us to talk about Brandsafe testing, just very, very quickly. What does it involve? You've just talked about testing the posts.
Mm-hmm.
Can you expand on that a bit more?
Yes, certainly. I mean, PAS 13 defines physically where and also how we impact our products. Like I said, we impact the horizontal barriers, which you'll see in all the videos, but it also specifies that we have to impact the vertical posts. What happens, we define the amount of energy that we hit our barriers based on our products. And then, as Stuart said, when impacted, we measure how far they deflect and how much force is transferred down into the fasteners and the concrete.
So Matt, this is the thing though, right, is that there's a lot of testing data, or there's some testing data out in the market on some products. I've seen this testing data. Personally, I find it confusing. I'd like to think I'm not alone, and that others may also find that too, especially when it talks about energy and KJ. But I think, well, what does that actually translate to? What does it mean for me? What does it mean in my warehouse and real life? And of course, with the Brandsafe range, we've been working on something called Safety Simplified. So just trying to simplify this data. I think we've got an example here. Can you just talk us through this quickly?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, what we're trying to do is be open and honest. We're giving our customers the energy that our products can withstand. What you're seeing here in this table is all 10 of the products that we have tested to PAS 13 and have been approved by TÜV Nord. The first column, you'll see energy at 90 degrees. Now, that's essentially a forklift truck hitting the barrier or the post head on at the speed described on the right-hand side. So, for example, if we take number 1, the low-level double bumper, we can see a forklift truck at 3.5 tons traveling at 6.4 miles an hour will hit it with 14.2 kilojoules. Now, that doesn't really mean much to anybody, but we know we can calculate, depending on the customer's specified forklift truck, their layout, how to install our products and what they can withstand.
And then the 45-degree column here is typically what it's probably a more real life scenario, because usually a forklift truck would brake prior to impact. So this is probably more realistic. And again, it shows you what it can withstand.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, the majority of impacts will never be at 90 degrees. There'll be glancing blows, there'll be, gentle touches. So 45 degrees is more of a realistic figure. And as you can see, as you increase the angle or decrease the angle that you hit at, our barriers can withstand a higher energy, a higher impact.
Thank you. And I just think this really helps when you're thinking about, okay, how much weight or what are the maximum loads our forklifts carrying in our warehouse? And what is a maximum speed that they'll ever be traveling at in a warehouse? So I think all of those things are just really helpful for us to be able to interpret data. Thank you, Matt. Okay, so just moving on. Susie, back over to you. There is such a range in the marketplace of impact safety systems, and dare I say, there's a huge price range as well. So some very high-end product, some very low-end product. Sometimes you might hear that those products are kind of over-engineered for purpose, but what are those products designed for?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Steph. That is something that's used. The terminology over-engineered actually isn't strictly true. Nothing really is over-engineered. It's about higher specifications for a different environment. So typically airports or very, very heavy duty industrial environments, they would need something that is of a greater specification. But what that means is you are paying a premium. So therefore people can overpay for product because they're not actually certain about what it is they're trying to do. The table that Matt's obviously just demonstrated and the products that we have, what it does is it allows people to be able to say, well, I'm going to have this, I need this. And therefore they're getting exactly what they need, as opposed to paying for something that will actually never be tested or never be pushed to its limits. But ultimately, the product that you are getting is going to sort of stand the test of time and give you the longevity that you're looking for.
And likewise, products that haven't had any testing at all could be underperforming for what they need.
Absolutely. And I mean, that would typically go into sort of your lower level category, if you like, and that'll be your very sort of fast and cheap product that you can get. But of course, you want to buy once, and that's the message here is you may buy cheaper, but you're probably going to replace it over and over again because it's not going to do exactly what you need it to do in the first instance.
Thank you, Susie. Stuart, I'm going to go back to you. So we're talking about Brandsafe product now, and I guess one of the questions will be, well, how available is the tested product in terms of lead times and what's the manufacturing?
Well, I'm really pleased to say our lead times are around 4 weeks. We've invested heavily in our manufacturing process to allow us to be at that level. Also, we are proud to be a UK manufacturer. We manufacture in Barnsley, but we provide our product worldwide, and have done pre and post Brexit. So there's no issues getting our products around the world. And also we have a small warehouse in Central Europe where we hold specific stock as well, so we can deal more rapidly with customer requirements.
That's great to hear, because I think, you know, lead times, they can all impact certainly the opening of a warehouse, and everything has a knock-on effect in the construction world.
Absolutely. And usually it's fair to say impact protection is sort of down the list in terms of being installed, and often down the list sometimes in making a decision on it. So yes, we're used to customers coming to us with urgent requirements, and we always able to help them out.
Thank you, Stuart. So Stuart Bourne, you're the managing director for, hello, thank you for being so patient with us. But you're here today because you represent the distributor network, which obviously, as the MD for Anco, you're dealing with distributors. And of course, often distributors for racking, mezzanine, you know, warehouse product, whereby safety barrier is an extension of their portfolio. So what does all this mean for them?
Yeah, thanks, Steph. For the distributors, it means that they've got access now through the Anco sort of network and through IWS to barriers which are specific to the industry that we're working in. It means that you can use the correct barriers in perhaps pick and drop areas, whereby the barrier will take any minor impact when you're using these pick and drop areas, which means that the barrier absorbs, takes the impact, protects the machinery, protects the floor, protects the rack, and they've got access to the right product.
And when you talk about having access to the product, I know something you're really passionate about, Stuart, is always providing your distributor network with stock. You always like to have things in stock, so lead times are important to them.
Absolutely, and the fact that we've got stock of certain sizes and that our lead time is low means that these products can be built into their projects without any sort of excess waiting times.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Okay, so just moving on. Back over to Stuart Ovington. So Stuart, who is PAS 13 or compliant in the industry? That's back to Stuart Ovington. You might be on mute.
It's a really good question, Steph. A lot of companies say they are PAS 13 compliant, but what they don't do is tell you which products are actually PAS 13 compliant. And we've been very transparent about that. So when you look on sites, you're looking at different suppliers, you need to make sure, are they PAS 13 and what are they PAS 13 compliant for? And I guess the second part of that then is, you know, has it been independently verified by a testing house of some kind? Again, that just gives you credibility then that you know that that person is PAS 13 compliant and it's been checked and verified.
And I guess the next thing is just picking up on the testing data Matt shared with us and what Susie was talking about the different levels of engineered product. So that's the next thing you'd look at. So starting with, is it PAS 13? Has it been independently tested? And then what do I need this product for? How engineered does it need to be?
And absolutely, you know, and what is the data behind it? And any company worth their salt will be willing, like we are, to share our testing data, the table which Matt showed earlier. We're happy to provide that, and we're always happy to help our customers understand our competitors' information as well, just so you're comparing like for like. And it's important because you're putting people's lives in danger when you put in impact protection if it's not fit for purpose.
Thank you. That's really helpful, Stuart. Okay, so We are reaching close to the end of our webinar now. I'm just going to go back to Matt and ask, with the new products and designs that you're working on, Matt, what's happening next? What's the next step in this process?
The next step was going to be, we're going to be gaining certification on the rest of our barrier portfolios, our pedestrian portfolios. And then from now on, all of our products will be certified from the beginning. So we'll be designing for certification. And I'm always looking to gain efficiencies in the manufacturing and supply of our new parts. But I would just like to say that, you know, I like a challenge. So if you see one of our representatives or get in contact with a salesperson, talk to us, see what we can do for you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Now, before I open this out for Q&A, and at this point, I am just going to say to the audience, there is a Q&A panel, and we'd really like to invite your questions. So it will be either at the top, at the bottom of your screen, perhaps on the side, but there is a Q&A button. If you can select that, then please ask us questions. And at the end, I'm just going to put those to the panel. Before I do, I'm just going to go back to Susie. And Susie, I'm just going to ask you about bespoke products, because every warehouse is different, right? In terms of the size, the layout, and also what the warehouse is being used for. So at Brandsafe, can we be bespoke?
Absolutely. The standard core range as it is now is typically derived from sort of customer inquiries where we've designed. And what that's meant is we've been able to then standardize that design to be able to take it out to market, so other people can then benefit from, you know, things that have been designed for a specific need. We have the ability to design with Matt, thankfully, manufacture and produce in-house, which means we have full autonomy on the sort of quality and making sure that it is fitting the needs. So bespoke products are absolutely bread and butter. We love the challenge, as Matt's already said.
Thank you, Susie. Just finally for us, can you summarise everything that we've kind of discussed today among the panel?
Yeah, I mean, what we're talking about here is making sure that people are making the right decisions in their impact safety range. And of course, we've talked about the challenges with around budgets. We've talked about understanding what it is that you need as a customer. And of course, that's always the thing that I will ask a question of, is what do you want to actually achieve from your solution? And then you get the right fit. And it's about making sure that you understand what it is you're trying to do, whether it be through a new build or sort of inherent operational issues. And then that allows a consultative approach. So anybody that you're engaging, we should always be asking the right question. And it really is, what do you want to do? Because you may end up repurposing, you may decide that you want to start at a lower level and then sort of build on your solutions. You don't need to sort of go gung-ho right from the outset. But of course, having an understanding of what you want to actually get out of it is probably the single most important question that I would ask.
Thank you very much, Susie. Okay, as promised, we're now into the Q&A section as we wrap up this webinar. I also think some people are going to be, we've talked about testing and how we've tested our product the whole time. I expect people will be wanting to see what our testing is. So what we will do after this Q&A is just post a very short video of our testing live in action, but we will also make sure we share information. One of the questions we've had from the audience today, and I'm just going to remind everyone, the Q&A panel is either at the top or bottom of your screen. There is a Q&A section. Please ask us anything, but if not, we can always answer at a later date. First question we've got here is somebody asking, Rachel, can I get a copy of the testing table? If anyone in the panel can answer that.
I'm happy to do. Yes, we will give you copies of that testing table. If you we'll send them out to, actually we'll send it out to everyone who's attended today on the webinar.
Great idea, Stuart. We will follow it up. Everybody who's attended will all get a copy of that testing table. We've also been asked, what is the lifespan of the materials used in this, and what rate does the level of protection start to depreciate?
I think I'll take that one then. Yeah. Our products are made from HDPE. Now, HDPE normally has a life expectancy of about 50 years. It is susceptible to UV aging, which is why we add a UV additive to the material. That really depends. Inside, without impact, you're easily looking at 30 years. Outside with weathering, you know, a bit shorter, 15 years, 20 years.
Thank you, Matt. That's really helpful. Somebody else has asked us, it's an anonymous attendee, so I can't see, but what sets us apart, or what sets you apart from other competition?
I'll take that one if that's okay. Notwithstanding what we've talked about today in terms of the testing and obviously the transparency on the performance of the product, I think what really does set us apart from competition is the consultative approach that we take to our customers, and then along with the service levels that we provide, because this isn't just about designing a product and putting it out to market. It's about understanding the needs, mapping. We can fully map a warehouse for our customers. We install, we have full responsibility for the whole delivery piece as well. And of course, it's about the aftercare. That's really important too. So it's important to me and the team that we understand from our customers how product is actually performing, because that then helps us develop further into the future.
Thank you very much, Susie. We have another question by a gentleman called Dave Cartwright asking if you can explain the table briefly again.
Yeah, certainly. Can you bring it up?
We can, just bear with us. Here we go.
I mean, what I would say, Dave, is if you're interested in a bit more information, please get in contact with us. We can go a bit more into detail with this. But essentially what you're looking at here is the 10 rows are all 10 items that we've tested to PAS 13 and have approved by TÜV Nord. The second column, which is the energy at 90 degrees, this is the PAS 13 test. We've had to test all of these at worst case, 90 degrees. So it's equivalent to a forklift truck hitting our products head on without braking. As you can see, we have different levels, so we can tailor our products to your individual warehouses. The highest we have is 14.2 kilojoules, and then down at the end of aisles, we've got 4 kilojoules. So it's dependent on what you're trying to protect and where that's located. Then going on to the third column, energy at 45 degrees. This is more like real life. Not very often you're going to get forklift trucks hitting our products head on. You're going to have glancing blows, and this is what it signifies. 45 degrees is more of a real life impact. And as you can see, while the number one low level double bumper can only withstand 14.2 kilojoules head on, once you start reducing that angle, our products withstand higher and higher energy impacts.
Thank you. Hopefully, Dave, that's enough explanation for you. If, as Matt said, if you want more information, we are very, very happy to help you. It's now 11:30 or 11:31, and I did promise this would be a half-hour webinar. So at this point, I am going to close the webinar and the Q&A session, but I will just ask this one last question that's come by. Just asking, the impact rating chart showed by Matt, is it assumed that the forklift weight 3.5 ton includes the pallet load? Just very quickly on that one.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So that's the total mass. The total mass that's going to be hitting the barrier, 3.5 tons. But what so you can do, we can offer some consulting. In which case, if you provide the weight of the forklift truck and the weight of the pallets you're carrying plus the speed, we can do some calculations for you.
Thank you very much, Matt. So at this point, I'm going to ask my wonderful marketing team to play a very short video just so people can see some of our testing in action. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who's joined us on the call today. We really appreciate you learning a bit more about our safety systems. Thank you to the panelists for providing your expertise, and we will be in touch with all the information hopefully that you need, but meanwhile feel free to contact us. You can reach us at any of the companies at IWS Group, otherwise reach us on www.iws.group. Thank you.
Test. Testing a wide range of barriers, so low-level single and double bumper barriers, pedestrian barriers, again single and double bumper, and then obviously rack end of aisle protection barriers, again with single and double bumper variations. They can protect every aspect of industrial buildings, whether that's creating safe pedestrian routes, aisles of racking, protecting critical infrastructure around the warehouse. The polymer range is fully recyclable, and it can be used in various applications down to temperatures as low as -40°C. They won't corrode, they're impervious to moisture. These products are very low maintenance, so while they need regular inspecting, you could almost leave them for years. Our barriers have been designed to meet the required standards. They're not over-engineered, they're cost-effective, and we can always advise on the correct application for each barrier.